Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to another installment of Scout Selections here for Sunday, January 12th. Before we get into today's play of the day, quick recap of what happened yesterday. We ended up picking up a loss with the Florida Gators -2. They got blown out. Missouri shot, I believe it was, I forgot what exactly they started. They started like 11 of 14 from 3 or something. It was really just kind of insane based on how Missouri's played during the season. They averaged roughly 65 points per game, and they scored 51 in the first half. I don't think anyone really could have expected that to happen, but either or, kind of disappointing. It gave out some leans. Those actually went pretty well. Gonzaga ended up covering. I probably should have given that out as play of the day. I gave out as a lean on Lamar Jackson over in rushing yards. That ended up winning. And I ended up losing on Sanders with the over in receiving yards. He had, I believe, 33 on the first drive. And then pretty much the 49ers decided to run the ball the last 3 quarters. Just because of the fact that Minnesota couldn't stop them. So it makes sense. 49ers ended up winning. They looked really good. Garoppolo really did not look good, though, and I think that's a bit concerning moving forward. And the other game was the crazy one between Tennessee and Baltimore, and it wasn't even a fun upset. The game was a blowout from start to finish. Tennessee, props to them. Derrick Henry just can't be stopped, and he is on pace to set a ton of records in the playoffs in terms of like rushing yards per game, total rushing. He's just been unstoppable. Tannehill once again wins his second straight playoff game with throwing less than 100 yards passing. So I think that matters long term, probably, especially if you end up playing Kansas City or Houston, because both of them like to throw the ball around. I think you're going to need to score some points. But Tennessee's defense was great. Lamar Jackson was very underwhelming. A lot of garbage time stats helped him out late, but the 2 4th-and-1s pretty much determined the entire game. The first one was okay. I mean, it is what it is. The second one, I don't know what Lamar was doing. You have a QB sneak on the inch line. You try to run like a triple option quarterback, trying to like move slightly to the side just to like get through a open. It really made no sense. Just fall forward for an inch. But whatever, either or, the Ravens are out, and the Titans will be moving on to the AFC title game. But for the play of the day, we're going to be talking about the NFL. There's one game starting in about an hour. There's another game starting at 6:40. We're going to be giving out a play of the day on the 6:40 game between the Seattle Seahawks and the Green Bay Packers. And we like the under here at 45.5, which is available on FanDuel at -110. Line's taking a dip from 46.5 to 45.5. I still like the line, and that's the play of the day. Now, the main reasons why this line has dropped, there was originally reports about snow that was potentially going to be falling in Green Bay on Sunday. A decent amount of snow fell on Saturday, a couple of inches here or there. I believe it was around 6 to 10, but that should be mostly shoveled before the start of the game. In terms of the snow, there's not going to be any snow during the game itself. It doesn't change the fact that it still will be 22 degrees in Green Bay. So it's still going to be very cold, and I just think this total is a bit too high based on the two teams that are playing. If you've looked at the actual matchups that both of these teams have had, or the schedules, I should say, of the recent opponents they've played, Seattle has gone under this posted total of 45.5 in 3 of their last 4 road games. So typically, Seattle, even though they're really good on the road, they typically win these low-scoring battles. They beat Philly last week 17-9. The offense, even though DK Metcalf went off, offense really didn't do much. This team can't run the ball, and I'm a bit concerned with how one-dimensional this team is becoming. Other than that, I mean, they went over against Carolina. They went well under against Los Angeles. Only scored 12 points in that game. And then the game before that, they ended up beating Philly on the road once again, 17-9, which means that Seattle in 3 of their last 4 road games have scored 17 points or less. Not really getting it done offensively in Green Bay's defense, despite the lack of offensive firepower that they've showcased so far this season. Their defense has definitely been a massive improvement from previous seasons, and I would expect Green Bay's defense to play well once again at home on Sunday. Now, switching gears, talking about Green Bay, the total's at 45.5. Green Bay has gone under 45.5 in each of their last 8 games. This team loves to play low-scoring battles. The offense, I mean, Rodgers, I don't know if he's lost a step or just what's going on, but this offense just hasn't worked out pretty well. And I think even though Green Bay has the ability to score 20-something points, I really don't see this game getting past 45. Green Bay loves to play unders. They're going to run the ball with Aaron Jones, probably eat up a ton of clock. And Seattle, they have the ability to get after the passer with Clowney and company, so I think they should be able to force the ball out of Rodgers' hands quickly. Rodgers hasn't really lit it up since his great performance against Oakland earlier this year. Been pretty underwhelming this season. But Russell Wilson's been great. This team can't run the ball, though, and I think Green Bay will try to do whatever they can to force Seattle to nickel and dime their way down the field. Plus, it is worth mentioning that opposing red zone scoring percentages in terms of touchdowns. Green Bay ranks 6th. They only give up touchdowns in 50% of opponent red zone appearances, which is tied for 4th in the league. Seattle ranks 19th at 58.18. Not great, but still definitely serviceable, middle of the pack. I think both teams should be able to, worst case scenario, force at least a couple of field goals if they end up allowing their opposition to get into plus territory and even the red zone. So for me, I think the total's too high. I think this game will be somewhere in the realm of, I'm going to say 23-20. I think this game will be really close. I know people are waiting for an over to happen, but so far you've had 6 playoff games. All 6 games have gone under. And I'm not saying that you should base your thoughts on this game based on those, but people keep waiting for the over, and people are going to keep betting the over because they feel like the over is quote-unquote due. It's really just a stupid way of handicapping. I think you should just base everything on how the two teams match up independently. And based on how these two teams match up, I have to lean to the under. So for me, play of the day will be the under 45.5, which is available on FanDuel at minus 110. Now, talking about some of the leans on today's card, relatively quiet card, but I'll stick with the NBA here for the leans. I'm going to lean to the Clippers here at minus 1. I know Paul George is out. Denver suffered a really disappointing loss to the Cavaliers at home yesterday. And simply put, the second night of a back-to-back and the Clippers, even though Paul George is not playing, I just think the more rested Clippers team is just more talented in general. And I think you should see the Clippers take care of business here. So lean to the Clippers minus 1 on that one. Other than that, the Nets and Hawks game is pretty interesting. Trae Young's currently questionable. Kyrie's supposed to make his return. I don't know how many minutes he's going to be playing. Nobody really knows. Brooklyn did win their last game. They're starting to get healthier with LeVert back in the lineup, as well as Kyrie. And the Hawks play no defense. I'll have to lean to Brooklyn, but for me, I'll probably pass on that one. For the Utah-Washington game, important information, though, Donovan Mitchell will not be playing. So if you end up wanting to take Utah, I would wait it out. This line will continue to drop. Interestingly, though, there has been some money on the over from 223 to 224, which I find fascinating because of the fact that Mitchell is out. It's mostly due to the fact, though, that, Washington's abysmal defensively, so it's something that's worth keeping in mind. Overall, not really a big fan of anything on the card. I'll link to Toronto, though, minus 4. San Antonio got embarrassed on the road in their last game against Memphis. They gave up 130-plus points. And Toronto, they're starting to get people back in terms of health. I know Siakam's questionable for this game. I know Norman Powell's back in the lineup. I just think Toronto's a better overall team. They've been really good at home this season. Lean to Toronto minus the 4. But the play of the day, once again, will be on the under 45.5 between the Seattle Seahawks and the Green Bay Packers. And that line is available at minus 110 on FanDuel. In terms of the other football game, though, I will lean to Kansas City. And, I'll lean to the over just because it's more entertaining to do. With Watson and Mahomes, I got to assume points will come pretty easily in this game. Kansas City's defense has been really good lately, but I have to assume that Mahomes is going to throw bombs away to Tyreek. I think that Hopkins will have a pretty good game after a solid second half and overtime against Buffalo. I think that game should end somewhere in the realm of, I'll say like 34 to, 34-20, give or take. I'll lean to Kansas City and I'll lean to the over. But other than that, that's going to be some of Scott's selections here for Sunday, January 12th. And good luck to all of you and your respective bets today. Bye, everyone.